Ruffman, welcome to Men on Women, the show for women who don't understand men and are wondering if they ever will. To find out what's really going on inside men, we're asking 3 guys, not you, you're off the hook, it's gonna be great, to be absolutely honest with us, if only for the next half hour. So the pressure's not too bad. Tonight we're starting off with some questions about flirting and what it means to guys. It's a flirty job, but I've got to do it. So I want to know, you guys have just met, right?
Right.
Yeah. Have you talked?
We've talked.
We've talked.
We've met.
At what point do you go from talking to flirting? Is it a verbal thing, or is it more of a nonverbal thing?
I think it's a body language thing.
A body language thing. Well, you got the bed.
Right.
Don't waste any time.
All right.
Okay?
All right, we'll do it.
I'll leave you now.
Okay.
But I want to report later. Tonight's real guy guests have pledged to open up their hearts to us, and they are John Sorbera, who's dating actively, and Mike Gravina, who has been dating his girlfriend for 2.5 years. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. So listen, here's the thing. You define flirting for me because everybody's got their own version of it. So let's just be on level ground here.
You can go first, John.
Thanks, Mike. It's just being comfortable with someone you're meeting for the first time and sort of feeling this vibe out and seeing whether you can take the conversation to the next level where you can be just a little bit more yourself and a little bit more open.
Yeah.
Something
so
like that.
Flirting tends to be a vibe thing.
More of a vibe. If I feel that I could flirt with this girl that I like or I could meet, I will go through with it. If I feel no connection at all,
Yeah.
I just stay my regular self or just keep quiet.
Yeah.
I don't take any chances.
I prefer to be flirted too, as opposed to being the flirt.
The flirter.
Yes.
You like to be the flirtee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well, obviously, it's automatically flattering, which
Yeah.
is nice, you know.
Yeah.
And I find it a real tough thing to flirt
Yeah.
with somebody, and I would, like I say, rather be.
But once she
flirted
gets
with.
into it with you, you're there, right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
well yeah,
Oh, yeah.
of course you can reciprocate, but it's always nice because you don't know how to take it sometimes. So if you feel it coming from her,
Yeah.
then it's a little easier to give it back to her.
But I think that's a given. All men would prefer if the girls would actually
Is that true?
Yeah, what's
flirt
with
with
that?
us
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so
Oh,
please,
for
just
sure.
speaking for the male gender,
Why not?
feel free.
Feel free.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Girls, you heard it
Absolutely.
here. Okay, let's add to our research now by inviting our celebrity guest into the conversation. Fresh from a tour with Big Sugar promoting his CD Heated, please welcome lead singer and guitar player Gordie Johnson. I'm going to snuggle in with you first. And ask, yeah, you darn right I am.
Flirting with me?
Yeah, absolutely. Every chance I get. Oh, I like the zipper thing. That's good. Okay, so listen, you look great.
Thank you.
You... Okay, this is the thing. You are a newlywed. But in your life as a musician, you must encounter a fair bit of flirting every time you get interviewed. It kind of comes up, right?
Well, you've been flirting with me since I walked in.
Darn
the
right
building.
I have.
That's
I'm
right.
getting in the mood for the show here.
So I knew I was just a warm-up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've encountered it from time to time, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from time to time. Did you meet your wife by flirting, or how'd that go?
I think I was probably flirting as hard as I could.
As hard as you
but she
could.
was not easily impressed, so
Oh.
I guess maybe I
Now tell
like
me,
the challenge.
you like the challenge of a...
Well, yeah, sure. She was a tall mountain to climb, so I just kept working on it. you know.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going back to my seat because, I got it. It's here for me, and I got the heart pillow.
Now that I'm married. it's
Now,
pretty much-
She's given up.
here goes my chair. Listen, okay, so you found her a tough case to crack. Is it always the case when you, like, if you're talking to a girl who's a tough case, do you drop the flirting thing and go in a different direction, or how did you manage? Like, you said you go back to being your regular self if it's not working, or that's if there's no vibe.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds pretty corny, but it's
serious stuff.
yeah, it's more of if you feel the connection, if you feel that something could come out of it, I would pursue it even more. If I felt that it was going somewhere, my flirting.
Yeah.
What do you do now that you're married and you've conquered
I've conquered the mountain.
Yeah.
The challenge
You've
is
climbed,
over.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd like to,
You repel?
I'd like to stay on the top of the mountain, so I'll just keep, I think even after you're with somebody I don't suppose it matters how long, it helps to keep just a little,
Sparkle.
cute little contact things
Yeah.
going all the time, where you're
Yeah.
not always making eye contact, or you might just have little words or pet names or just the stroke of a hand or anything that just lets her know, or she lets me know that, she's
You're the
thinking of
top
me.
of
Just
the
that you're
mountain kinda
together,
guy.
even though you're across a room, their eyes met across a crowded room.
Yeah,
You know,
or
just little
across a
things like
crowded
that.
bed.
If you forget to do stuff like that, I think a relationship goes flat after a while.
Yeah.
She tour with you?
Yeah, for the most part.
Like she comes
most
out
of
on
the
tour with
time.
you? I thought it
Most
was
of the
like
time.
you go away and it's instant honeymoon, because you haven't seen her for.
Well, that's good too. Yeah, she doesn't get to go on all the trips, but even being, away in I knew this would be marriage that worked because, in a tour bus, there's a bunk that's about a third the size of this couch, and for the two of us to fit in there. I said, fellas, if you find somebody you share a bunk with
Yeah.
for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks at a time, then that's it. You're locked up.
Oh, baby.
That's a good answer, eh, Matt?
Yeah, I'm getting in the mood for a tour right as we speak. Okay, what about, you said earlier you want girls to flirt with you. You like that. Does that go all the way across the board? Most guys like that better.
Well, yeah.
You want the girl to start it off, eh? Does it ever get
Well-
ugly, like go way beyond the point where it should have, or?
No, it's just nice to know that they actually have an interest in you and that they're actually going to break the barrier down and actually have enough guts or just want to do what they want to do and start talking to you first.
Okay.
I think, yeah, as you get older too, you know, when you're younger and you're a kid and you're in your late teens or whatever, I think sometimes then sure you can take it a lot farther,
Yeah.
especially when you're out at a bar, there's some alcohol involved, whatever. But
Okay.
I think as you get older, you just learn by your mistakes if that's what they were. But
It doesn't have to go that far for you to feel like Tarzan either. Like, it doesn't have to culminate in, sharing a tour bus bunk for 6 months or whatever.
It's
But
just
it just
super
even
flattering.
just,
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
someone-
come
Okay.
on. Who didn't flirt with the makeup lady today?
Nobody. Yeah, they all did. Okay.
Of course, I mean, just a little bit, just because it's,
She's
there's
touching
a,
you.
oh, there's a kind of
Yeah.
energy. Oh, well, with
Yeah.
a
With the
brush.
brush,
She's
of
at arm's
course.
length.
With the
of course,
brush.
but-
Okay.
She's a great woman as
You know
well.
what? We're gonna settle down, okay? All this frisky business. We're gonna watch some commercials now, actually. And when we come back, Sarah is on the line with a question about confronting a flirtatious boyfriend. Then we'll be right back. Welcome back to Men on Women with Gordie Johnson, Mike Gravina, and John Sorbera. We have Sarah on the line with a question for the guys. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Meg.
Hi. Go ahead with your question.
I was just curious about how to tell my boyfriend that his flirting has gone way over the top. It's gotten to the point where it makes me uncomfortable and even a little embarrassed. And last time I brought it up, he just chalked it up to my being jealous.
He flirts right in front of you?
Is that better than flirting behind her back?
It's a lot more rude, that's for sure.
That's a
tough.
big
Well, I
risk.
actually heard a guy say the definition of flirting, like harmless flirting, is anything that you would do with your partner at your side. Like you're just being yourself, right? But that's tricky. So what are you gonna?
Well, I think you just plain will have to tell him. You
Well, it
plain will
sounds
have-
like Sarah, haven't you already told him?
I have, and he just says that I'm being jealous.
I think you really have to explain to him exactly what he's doing that's really bothering you, because he's probably just going, well, I'm not doing anything out of the normal here. So, maybe just like say you really have to, you got to stop going up to girls and putting your arms around them and
Is that what he does? Is it physical or is it more verbal?
It's a little bit of both.
obviously he doesn't know he's doing it. So you have to point out, I think, write it all down and tell him point by point.
That would work with you if you got an essay?
Well, she doesn't actually have to hand it over to me, but, this guy, he sounds like the kind of guy that obviously doesn't realize that he doesn't think he's doing anything wrong. So I think,
Yeah.
If you point it out, and maybe he'll realize it, or eventually, you may have to move on.
Yeah.
That kind of comes down to, what's the what's his goal? Like, what goal is he trying to achieve by? I mean, if it makes him feel better to flirt a little bit, makes him feel, you know.
I dump him.
You dump him?
Yeah.
It makes him feel good. Maybe it makes him feel more attractive to her.
Yeah.
But I think the real thing he's got to consider is how does it make his partner feel? It doesn't matter what, like, the shopping list of particular flirts that he's doing. I mean, he's got to ask himself, well, how am I making her feel if you guys are partners, married or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever? Like, how are you making that your girlfriend feel? You know?
Yeah, if he cared about your feelings, where is she? If he cared about your feelings, he wouldn't take it that far. When I was in a relationship, I'm single right now, I would...
Do you want to just look right into the camera?
I wouldn't take it no more than a casual conversation with somebody at a bar. I would never step over the line like that and make my girlfriend feel uncomfortable like that, especially if I was with her. It's just totally not necessary, in my opinion.
All right, are you getting the answer that you need, Sarah?
I think I am.
I think you are. Thanks for your call, Sarah. It was great of you to take time to call us.
Thanks very much, Meg.
Will always look. My wife will always ask me what I'm looking at, and I always tell her the same thing. It costs nothing to look, and so she's very cool with that. She's very, you know, I'm sure she's looking. My wife's a very attractive woman, and I'm sure she looks at other men at the same time. But if you know where your feet are planted, you know what you have in life. But that's the spice of life, to always look at other women. Men are like that.
Well, God gave me eyes, and He gave me eyes to look, and she understands that. And my wife is a very attractive woman as well, so I don't think she feels insecure. But there's a difference between looking and gawking. And I think women enjoy to be looked at. However, comes a certain point after, a few seconds, you look, you glance, you acknowledge, that's fine. But you don't continue to follow the bouncing balls, per se, as the woman continues to walk.
Okay, so if you're out, look, there's like a bunch of ways to approach this, but if there's a beautiful girl coming at you on the street, obviously you're gonna look, right? But, I mean, that goes without saying, but how's it different when if you're walking with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever? Like, is there a slight tempering of the behavior, or how's that work?
That's when Gordie puts his sunglasses down.
Well, again, I think I'm sure my wife is well aware that, I have an appreciation for, a beautiful girl. I married one, so so she knows that. But I think it depends on the reaction you're looking for. Again, like I was saying about the goal, talking to that caller, I'd probably get more positive response from a female if I didn't look, and the female being my wife. If she saw a beautiful woman coming, and if I just completely ignored the existence of her entirely, somewhere down the road later that day, I know I'm going to get a squeeze on the arm or something. Like, I know I'll get just a little more, you're the man for me,
Yeah.
It's way worth it. It's way worth it, I mean, it's not that she would get upset if I looked, which she wouldn't.
Yeah.
But, it depends what kind of response you're looking to get.
Yeah.
I think a look is harmless. I've had a relationship where we both asked our own opinions about a beautiful girl that walked down the street. I'd say, hey, she was pretty hot, eh?
That's
She'd
a
say,
loaded
yeah.
question.
Really? Well, just one.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't touch, like that's what my mother said to me when I was 13. She found 3 Playboy magazines in my drawer.
Yeah.
And when she confronted me that night when I came home from school, she didn't get mad. I thought she was going to kill me. I was ready to get all scared and cry, but she said, that's all right, it's harmless, you're 13 now, you're going to be doing this as long as you don't touch yet. You're not ready.
Yeah.
Touch the girls, I mean.
Yeah.
So if the girl you're with asks you,
Magazines were pretty much all
The magazine was fine.
if the girl you're with asks you, do you think she's beautiful? Do you tell her the true answer, or do you tone it down a notch or two?
Not as beautiful as you, honey.
Oh, slip that in, yeah.
Gee, you're a real veteran.
I'm usually pretty. It depends on how open the communication relationship
Okay, well,
is.
let's just change it then.
But I've been pretty honest.
Let's say you're walking down the street with a guy buddy, and the same chick is coming at you. Like you're not quite censoring or tempering in the same way, maybe. Are you?
No, it's different.
I think it's cool when she passes by, and then you and your buddy can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the
afterwards,
term "oh my God" doesn't come up when you're walking with your girlfriend or wife. But That's
Funny, eh?
There's certain
Okay.
lyrics you don't use.
You don't use those.
Yeah.
Okay, here's something I'm really curious about while we're talking about this, because it's reminding me. I have this romance fiction book, and I just wanted to do this reality check, because we're in that reality check kind of mood right here. Okay, here it is.
Oh, conveniently behind your pillow.
This will be from The Surrogate Wife. Oh, my bookmark just fell out. There it is. The Surrogate Wife by Barbara Lee, and I'm just going to read this to you. Okay, and you tell me if this is what goes on in guys' heads or not. Josh reached out and stopped her. As his hand touched her arm, he felt the resilience of her flesh all the way to his toes. The sound of her voice quickened his blood. The scent of her hair made him dizzy with longing to bury his face deep in those thick tresses. Okay, are you there? Or is that lost on you?
Yeah, that's
Okay, let me just start out.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
because I got some really specific questions. Okay, how much face burying in tresses are guys likely to?
It depends on how much product is in the
Product?
In the tress.
It's a hair product.
Yes,
You can kind of cut yourself at times.
well, yeah.
Okay, like mine right now, for example. Is it, when you touch a woman's arm, if you're highly attracted to a woman, are you likely to have a really intense physical reaction to that all the way to your toes? Does that ever happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there,
Okay,
you know,
good.
that there's. Well, I think that's.
Because, I want to believe it does.
Yeah, you know, when people say they have that electricity, I think that happens
Yeah.
between a guy and a girl.
And how about that?
But not the way it's written in that book, because of course guys don't think like that.
They feel like
they
that.
feel like that, but we
Okay.
just wouldn't word it that way.
No, that's
all.
okay. This is worded for female readers.
That was a female author,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I just was curious. Okay, this is good. What does quickened blood feel like?
Quickened blood.
It's like an adrenaline rush. You know, it's like after
Okay.
after a workout, after sex. That's,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, just like a flush.
A flash.
To your face
a
kind of thing.
sexual flash.
Or a
Yeah.
hot flash that
Oh,
women
thanks.
get.
I know what that's all about.
Yeah.
They like when you say that.
I'm working. Yeah, they like when you say that. He said,
Okay.
"Now, chicks don't like that hot flash reference." Okay, there's a lot of romance fiction out there, and I think it's, there are a lot of women reading it, and we just wonder if it's really what goes on in guys' heads.
There's a lot of stuff out there. I was reading, knowing that I was going to come out here and be asked questions, I read the new Cosmo in the dressing room.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I better get up to date on this stuff.
Yeah,
I can't believe the stuff they
know.
give y'all to read.
And we're using that for references. That's why I'm asking you guys, because we don't know what's true.
And guys don't have books like that. It's
Motor Trend, car
Yeah.
drive.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Horse and Hound, or whatever it is.
How to get
Okay,
rid
look.
of your beer belly.
Perhaps these responses will raise the sales of romance fiction. We'll be back shortly with a question from one of our studio audience members. You try saying that with an overbite. Who just can't wait to ask their question. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Men on Women with Mike Gravina, John Sorbera, and Big Sugar's Gordie Johnson. We've got a woman in the audience who's anxious to ask you guys a question. And where is she? Sonia, go right ahead.
Well, I was curious to know how you guys felt, if you felt that men and women flirt differently, and if yes, then where do you feel the difference lies?
That's interesting. Do they flirt differently?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's sort of like an individual thing. I mean, I think everybody's different in the way that they do it. I don't think it's a gender thing at all.
You don't? Okay.
Yeah, and some women
Not really.
are very flirty. They're very overt,
Yeah.
And
And
depending on the time. And
So are guys. Can be sometimes.
depending.
Well, yeah.
I don't think it's, I've never thought of it as being women are like this way and guys are like that way.
Yeah.
I think some women are a little bit more physical than men are. In a nice gesture way, they'll touch you if they're comfortable with you, like your
Yeah.
hand or your arm, just to let you know that
Yeah.
conversation's going well and they're pretty comfy. As opposed to guys, I don't think we would
touch.
touch
Yeah,
them
that's
all
true.
at first. We
Yeah,
have more of a verbal thing going on first, but with women, I think they're more comfortable in touching the guy first.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in a business situation, I think men may sort of tend to hold back a little bit
Right.
until you get to know that person, and then maybe you can have some touching and all that kind of stuff. And it may not. Some people are just affectionate, and some people are just that sort of, like she said, that touchy-feely kind of people.
Right.
Like I'm half Italian, so I come from that background of, everybody's touching everybody,
We
everybody's
touch.
kissing
Yeah.
everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, over in Europe, it's completely different as it is here. Everybody in Europe is you don't even know them and they're grabbing you.
Okay, look, I got a special question for you, okay? This is the part of the show, we call it Stump the Guy, okay? It just takes a minute. It's one of those questions that,
takes a minute.
women wonder about, and so we're just gonna go for this. As we continue plumbing the depths of the masculine mystique, we occasionally come upon an unexpected bend in the pipes, a clog in the stack, a limp flapper. Sure, these are all plumbing terms, but plumbing is a lot like life, isn't it? That's why we like to ask every guest of Men on Women a perplexing question about life that may still have you cogitating about it days later. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Okay. In your house, how's it work with this thing? Now, I'm curious, because this is like a huge issue for a lot of women, okay? Up, down, up. How's it work? Not the toilet seat. I know how the toilet seat works. What's the rule in your family? You're married. Have you worked this out?
Uh-huh.
What's it?
I don't think I'd have got to that altar without having had that skill together.
Okay, so you're
you
saying...
can leave the lid up, you might as well leave the front door open, and on your way out the door,
Oh, my
put the
God.
lid down.
Put the lid down.
At home.
At
on
home.
on a bus,
Yeah,
it's
because
like...
I noticed in the dressing room here, you guys, it's up. So, at home, though,
Only at
you have to
home.
remember.
Keep
That's
it
my
down.
perfect comeback. You can leave the lid up for me.
Yeah, exactly. If the poo was on the other foot, huh?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I was raised with a mother and a sister. I mean, you might as well leave whiskers in the sink if you're going to leave the toilet seat up now.
Okay,
Just
you know what? It's going
Doesn't
bad
go.
now. I don't want to know about whiskers in this thing. That was a very tough question. Thank you for answering it. You handled it very well. I'd like to thank our viewers and our studio audience for joining us tonight. Too bad I can't talk. I'd also like to thank our guests, Big Sugar's Gordie Johnson, plus John Sorbera and Mike Gravina. If you would like to have some fun with Men on Women, give us a call or send us an email. I'm Mag Ruffman. Thanks for watching.